started, well, when I was 16. I joined a English chartered accountant company. Did a 5-year sandwich course to become an English chartered accountant, which I achieved at 21. Owned a company in Belgium. It was a sports company, and we sold sports shirts to Belgium, Netherlands and Luxembourg, the Benelux countries. And then over here in America, I've owned parts of a restaurant, and I went to work for Nike, and was a general manager of a professional soccer team. So I've had some varied experience in business. I got into Bayshore in computers, Bayshore Technologies, by way of helping a former player who didn't have any business background, and I set up a company for him, organised bank loans, etc. And it was in the technology field, and I was really taken by the technology field. It was the years that the embryonic years of Microsoft and Intel, and the first computers, the XTs, and the right from the start. So I knew that this was an expanding business, and one that there'd always be great opportunity in. So that's why we chose technology.
Just a few reference points and data points about our company. We started in April of 1997, and we sold our company in December 2012 to an Oldsmar-based company called Vology, who were a venture capital-backed company with national sales in the $100 million mark. We were a $35 million company using half our staff were technical resources, so we were a technical resources company. They'd spent a couple of $1 million trying to build their own technical services group unsuccessfully. So it fitted into their goals of going forward. It made the companies around about 150 million to start with, and they've grown that now up past 200 million. So it was a great benefit for both sides, and I think a very successful merger between the two companies. I think I was very, very lucky and very blessed to have the partners that I had. Frank Mann and Winston DuBose, partners for 15 years and are still great friends of the family and come to all of our big family occasions. We delegated pretty quickly in the business, pretty much from the first week we opened, and Frank was on the technology side. He'd come from the IT department at St. Pete Times, and so he was really responsible for growing our services side of the business. And Winston came from a large manufacturer on the sales side, and so he took care of a lot of the sales organisation. I looked after the business, the financial, the operational side of the business. Got involved with more on the sales side too because of my connections, but that was really how we delegated the business, and I think we only had one argument in 15 years, so we did very well. We spent quite a bit of time planning. There's a lot to be done embryonic stage of companies, obviously, to incorporate, to do the buy-sell agreements, etc. Make sure that I wanted, pillars of support for the company. So a good accountant, which was vital to us, a good attorney, good banking, proper financing, etc. So I handled a lot of those commitments that we made, and those relationships which which actually lasted for 15 years. We had the same accountant, same bankers, and so quite a bit of planning for us to be successful, and then we went for it. Question 4, which is a fantastic question. We did start very humbly. I think most companies do. A dear friend, Anthony Maniscalco, lent us some space in an office, big office that he had, for a very inexpensive rent. And we started there, about 1,000 square feet, I remember. And it was exciting days. You know, we got our first PO from a public company here in Tampa called J-Bill Circuit. And I'm forever grateful for those guys for giving us a shot. And we grew pretty quickly. We hired some folks early on to grow our technical side, and hired an in-house accountant. And we went out, and it was probably the most exciting times, because you know, you need customers to survive, and we were good at what we did. And you know, we started to acquire quite a few customers and see it grow. And then come the next challenges, the next round of challenges. We moved out and got our own 7,500 square foot facility, I remember. And then we moved eventually to a 22,000 square foot facility, warehousing, etc. So it was exciting times. We were always pretty sure of our success, and we were very well financed. We got great credit lines. We paid our bills on time. So it was exciting. It was fun to see the company grow. Our evaluation process sort of grew at the same time, you know, as our company expanded. At the beginning, with a small group, you know, the evaluation process probably was every day, because we were so close to each other. But as we grew then, and we started to hire managers to take care of certain sections of the business, then they did their own evaluations. Then it would come up through me. I thought that it was important for me to have an interface with all of our employees, so we did do formal evaluations later on in the company's life, but very informal in the first few years of the company. Another great question. What's the qualities you look for in an employee? And for me, the main one is integrity. I think you're asking, and we asked all our employees to do what's right every single time. To do what's right. That's what we wanted. We wanted our customers to be treated well, and we wanted our employees to treat each other well and do what's right. And the honesty, integrity, very important. We could teach a lot of, especially the younger ones, the technologies, but you can't teach integrity. You can't teach honesty. So the best advice that I can give someone to start their own business, well, first of all, I applaud anybody that starts a business on their own with partners. I always think that everybody should own a business one time in their lives. I think it will give every employee a great perspective of what it's like on the other side. And it's certainly, for me, it's been fantastic. I've really thoroughly enjoyed it, and would do it again in a heartbeat with the right circumstance. Please make sure that you finance yourself well, and make sure that you're surrounded with good people, good accountants, good attorneys. Make sure that everything is documented well. And if if you work with partners, then make sure you have a buy-sell agreement in place, because it may well be that as you get more successful, someone leaves, and then how do you split the company up, etc., etc. So always think about the future and how it would affect you. Remember, what you're building is your equity for life.